Welcome to the Know, I'm Meg Turney.
I'm John Reisinger.
We're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer for that brighter, more interactive future where we strap ridiculous HD screens to our faces to secretly watch porn.
Why secretly? The HTC Vive, which is being developed in conjunction with Valve for Steam, announced last night via its blog that the commercial release won't be this year, but it is being delayed to April 2016. This isn't that much of a surprise considering we'll be halfway through December next week. It would have set the stage for a VR launch as quiet as the Virtua Boys.
Obligatory Virtua Boy joke. Check. Good job, Eddie. In the announcement, HTC said they were hoping to clear up speculation and misinformation surrounding the launch of HTC Vive this month. We remain committed to delivering the HTC Vive to a broader group of content creators and partners, and remain focused on delivering the very best experience possible for consumer release. They also added that they'll be making an additional 7,000 developer units available at the beginning of the year and expanding their demo tours.
To be honest, we're not really sure what that misinformation and speculation comment was all about. The only reason people thought the HTC Vive might still launch in December is because that's what HTC announced earlier this year, stating that the consumer edition of the product would be available by the end of 2015. Which is December.
Right.
So we only speculate on it because they told us to. But we'll stop now, I guess.
Yeah, how dare you believe our announcements, you
Ugh.
Ugh. Whether or not this announcement is also supposed to be met with disbelief remains to be seen, but one thing is for certain, we're still a ways off from high-end VR headsets in homes. And even though HTC is running into delays, at least they've been able to commit to the month of April. Both Sony's PlayStation VR and Oculus Rift haven't been able to say that much, touting the not at all vague release windows of the first half of 2016 and the first quarter of 2016, respectively.
Are any of these VR systems ever coming out? Last week gave both Oculus and Sony ample opportunity to really define a release date or price with the VGAs and Sony's PlayStation Experience, offering a huge platform for announcements. But yet again, we didn't get any news, which is odd considering how close we supposedly are to launch. Fans were especially hopeful for Oculus news at the VGAs when it was teased that they would have a special announcement in store for the show. But instead, they unveiled a VR version of Rock Band, which I think is really awesome, but you are not excited about.
I don't think it's that great.
Yeah.
I don't feel more on stage than if I'm just staring at a television.
Oh, I want people just to praise me and everything.
And everywhere I look, people who love me.
Yes!
Backstage sluts.
I am a rock god!
Ooh, well, VR sluts?
Yes.
See, that's how you get the porn tie-in.
Oh.
They're backstage.
I'm okay with this.
Maybe Oculus is more focused on its legal troubles right about now instead of its launch date. PC World reported last night that Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been ordered to testify in the IP dispute over Oculus Rift between Oculus and Fallout 4 parent company ZeniMax, which has been moving forward for the last year. Facebook has been trying to keep Zuckerberg out of the deposition for obvious reasons, but ZeniMax claims that Zuckerberg had access to unique features or code which belonged to ZeniMax at the time of Oculus's purchase by Facebook.
All of this originates from the fact that its John Carmack was simultaneously working for both Bethesda and Oculus at the same time, something Bethesda claimed last year wasn't really a big deal and wouldn't affect his role at Bethesda. I guess once Oculus sold for $2 billion, the tune changed just a little bit. Now ZeniMax believes that Carmack's work on the project belongs to them. This is starting to sound like the plot of Silicon Valley or the plot of Mark Zuckerberg's life.
Yes, or the movie.
And Zuckerberg's.
Is actually his evil twin. As for Sony's missed opportunities, the PlayStation Experience only demoed a handful of games for VR and didn't really announce any big first-party titles, which is arguably the PlayStation VR's biggest advantage over all its other competitors. We did, however, get glimpses of Ace Combat 7, Res Infinite, Psychonauts, Rhombus of Ruin, and Gollum, which, by the way, is the first game from Highwire Games, the studio founded by Halo vets Marty O'Donnell, Jamie Greismer, and Vic DeLeon. But still, nothing earth-shattering from that, which was a bummer, unless you include that weird broken VR demo they tried to show at the keynote.
Sony even acknowledged that gamers might be asking what else after PSX. PlayStation boss Yoshida told GameSpot that in regards to these what else features, they're just not ready to show them yet. We're working hard to prepare for the reveal of these features that we haven't been able to talk about for PlayStation VR, as well as, of course, pricing and release date. What do you get when you buy the system?
Yes, and what about the price? I mean, Sony is being tight-lipped, but did tell Bloomberg that it would be priced as a new gaming platform. So we're expecting something in the range between $300 and $400.
I do that for VR porn.
So crazy. It actually places it, by the way, on par with the rumored price point of $350 for the Oculus, based on comments by CEO Palmer Luckey.
Again, how close can they ever even be if nobody's been able to commit to a release window or price? We've seen in the past that being first to market is incredibly important in the tech space. Look no further than the impact the Wii made before both Microsoft and Sony invested in their own motion technology. technology. But with the Wii already in so many homes, it was hard to catch on. As for first to market, being late to the game and more expensive hurt Sony with the PS3, and then in turn came back to bite Microsoft in the current generation.
So maybe Oculus and Sony are just waiting on one another. I mean, locked in the world's most boring game of VR chicken. Just could be so much cooler.
These are chickens.
These are chickens. The thing is, none of this is gonna matter if nobody's got the games to back their systems up. Sony says it has 17 games ready for its VR launch, while Oculus has somewhere around 10. We know that the Vive will have VR support for a number of existing games, but supposedly Valve has a big announcement coming about software that it's developing for Vive's launch.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Ah.
With all these big players in the VR game, it's no surprise that analysts keep expecting VR to bring in more and more revenue in their latest predictions. Just last week, market researcher TrendForce predicted that VR revenue will exceed more than $70 billion by 2020, which is just insane considering video games currently are expected to do around $90 billion total for 2015 overall.
Now, if they want to start making that kind of money, they gotta actually, you know, release some hardware at some point.
Just some.
Just a little bit. Right now, it's anybody's guess when these headsets will hit store shelves and homes, but it is possible that we're standing right on the edge of a technological landmark. Just waiting on the edge. Boring. We're as eager as anybody else to see if VR sticks around, or if maybe it's just another fad, like so many before.
When do you guys expect the Oculus and Sony headsets to launch? Are you interested in picking those up, or the Vive? Do you want VR to just go away forever?
Yes, and yes, and yes. To stay on top of VR news and, ooh, VR porn, like this video, and subscribe to the Know. VR porn, I feel like would be a little strange though, right? Like you got a headset, here's the thing about it. You got a headset on,
yeah.
I can't see if somebody walks in. I need to have like a lookout. I need one eye to be on lookout all the time.
That's why there's locks on the door.
Yeah, but like I live with someone.
You go in your panic room and you have your VR porn. That's how it works out.
I would jerk it in a panic room.